Hi computer scientists, Mr. Stafford here, and today I wanted to show you Unit 6, Lesson 6, removing data from an array. The first level has us look at the program and predict what will happen. So make your read the program and make your prediction over here. And I want to display why it works the way that it does. The last time that the last level that we did, we looked at adding elements to an array list. And so what I've done already is I've taken the add lines from 7 to 11, and we see that we have 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39. And these are indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so the first printout is going to print out the original list, which is this, and then the size, which is how many elements that are in this array list. So we've got size is 5 because there's 5 elements. Then we get into the for loop, which is we are starting at index 0, going through the size of the list, and we are removing, so numList.remove index 2. And so this is what you'll see when we remove. So what's happening is index 2 is getting removed. And so when we print the new list, it's going to be 42, 66, 12, and 39, and the size is going to be 4. When we run this, when we take a look at the indexes, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and we run this again, we are going to remove index 2, and we are left with 42, 66, 39, and the size is now 3. Looking at our indexes, we have 0, 1, and 2. We're still looping through the size of the array list, and we are going to remove index 2 again, and then we have 42, 66, and our size is 2. And so when we run this thing, we will see hopefully that this is the same thing that we get in our printout, which is what I've illustrated over here on the right. I'm going to stop, refresh this page, run it again, and it's I was going to say very similar, but I think it's exactly what we've got over on the right. 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39. And then 42, 66, 12, and 39. 42, 66, and 39, and then 42 and 66. Okay, we'll click Finish. Flow on to level number 2. This is the same style of question. So this was level 1. I'm going to put level 2. And we're supposed to read the program again, so I want you to read the program, make your prediction, and see if you get it right. But what we're doing is we are adding elements to the array list again. So we've got 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39, still at indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And what it's asking us to do is to print out in a for each loop all of these items. So what we should be left with, since we have a print line, is all of these elements getting printed on their own line. So going 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39. If we flow down on line 17, that's just going to print a space for us. It's going to break it up for our eyes. And then we are looking at an array, which is from a few units back. And we are initializing it to have 5 indexes, and we are filling it with 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39. And then we have created a for each loop, this time with a primitive int for the temporary variable instead of the object integer, which is what we have for array lists if we're going to hold integer types. And we are just printing out each item in that array. And so again, we should be left with 42, 66, 21, 12, and 39. go ahead and run the program. See if we get it, and it is what we predicted. Okay, we'll tick finish. We have another prediction style lesson, and I'll say lesson number 3. We're adding into an Arraylist Num List the same elements, which are 42, 66, 21, 12, and 39. Indexing from 0 to 3, and 4. So the original list, again, 42, 66, 21, 12, and 9, and the size is going to be 5. And now what we're doing is we are going to remove items in this array list. Okay, so we've created a for each loop to remove all the items in the array list. So here's what's going to happen. The very first item that we're looking at in the array list is 42, and that gets eliminated, and so everything gets shifted: 66, 21, 12, and 39. And we were looking at index 0 on the first go round. Now we're looking at index 1, but since everything has shifted, 2 and 3, what I would expect to see, and we're going to test this once we run it, is that index 1 is now 21, and it's going to get eliminated. And then we shift again all the ones that are to the right of it, so 66, 12, and 39. And with our for each loop, we now shift to the next index, which is going to be at 2. And what we have at index 2 currently is index 39, and that gets eliminated. And let's see if we get an index out of bounds exception or not. So the new list, I'm predicting that the new list is going to be 66 and 12. And we'll run this thing. And this says that the original list is 42, 66, 71, 12, and 39, and that the size is 5. But then it says your code hit an exception while it was running. And then it says concurrent modification exception. So this is a new exception for us. What happened is we modified this array list while we were running through this for each loop. So we hit this concurrent modification exception. So if we want to remove items from an array list, we should use a for loop for that. And so this is going to come up a little bit later, but we hit this modification exception. So this didn't even get to the point where we could print it. On to the next level, it says this program is intended to remove items from the food list that are more than 5 characters long, but it has an error. Fix the program so it produces the intended result. So we see we have a list of foods that we're adding to the array list named foods, and they're all of type string. And it says, you know, the list of foods before, I'm going to get rid of this. Change that. And so it says a list of foods before, and then it'll print foods, and then it says we have this for each loop, and we are going through all of the strings in foods, and if the length is greater than 5, we want to remove them. So let's run this and see what happens. And we hit again a concurrent modification exception. Okay, so here's what we should do. I'm going to change this for loop, and like I illustrated before, as soon as you remove an item, the elements to the right of that item shift to the left. So here's what I like to do when I'm eliminating items in an array list. I like to work from the end of it and then work my way forward. So I'm going to do int I is going to be equal to foods dot size -1, because again we have that off by 1 issue where the greatest index is 1 less than our size. And then I is going to be greater than or equal to 0. I want to go all the way to the beginning of the list. And this is going to be I minus minus. So I'm starting at the end of the list and working my way to the very front of it. And so if instead of item, because that was from the for each loop, I'm going to say foods dot get index I is greater than, or dot length is greater than 5. I'm going to do foods dot remove instead of item, it should be index I. So let's clear the console, run this, and see what we get. And I have an error. So it says for int I equals. I put a plus sign down instead of an equal sign down. Clear the console, run this again. And now it says list of foods after is curry, laksa, and sushi. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all of the elements from before that were greater than 5 are now eliminated. All right, we'll finish that. On to lesson number 5, and this says choose from the following, and this says list, remove stop words from a list of words, and this says remove stop words from a sentence or remove stop words from a paragraph. So either way, we are removing the stop words. Okay, so stop words removal is the process of removing commonly used words from a list before or after processing text. So I want to take a look. Here's my stop words: a, and, are. Okay, so there's 25 words there, and then here's random words that I need to replace it with. So I'm going to go back to lit processor. It says in lit processor, write the remove words method. So I'm going to see if they have a method header for me. They do. So write the method to remove the stop words from lit text. So it says loop through the lit text list. So lit text is an array list of strings, so I need to loop through that first. So I'm going to do for int I equals 0, I is going to be less than lit text dot size I plus plus. And then it says in part A, loop through the stop words list. So I'm already looping through the lit text. So what I want to do is the lit text are, let me see that my console is random words. So I'm just looking at random words. And what I want to do is loop through these random words and remove any of them from the stop words. Okay, so I'm going back to lit processor. So I need to loop through the stop words. So for int I equals 0, I is going to be less than stop words dot size I plus plus. I want to make sure it's called stop words. It is. It's another array list called stop words. It's saying if the current item in lit text is the same as the current item in stop words, remove the item from lit text. Okay. So what I want to do is this. If I'm going to remove it, I'm going to run into the same issue as I did before. So what I'm going to do, since I'm removing things from the lit text, I am going to start it at size -1. And I'm going to go until I is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. And I see that in my second for loop, I've reused the variable name I, and I need to change that to j. That would give me an issue. So int I equals lit text dot size minus 1, I is greater than or equal to 0, I plus plus. Instead of I plus plus, I'm working backwards, so I want to do I minus minus. Okay, so now I need my if statement to see if the words that I'm looking at in lit text, so I want to do lit text dot get I dot equals. Okay, and it gives me a little, remember that the equals method should be used to compare two objects for equality. Strings are objects, so we're going to use equals. So I'm going to say stop words dot get j. And if that's true, if they are equal, then I want to remove, so lit text dot remove index I. Okay, let's run this, see if I have any errors. So I see congratulate, A is removed from the stop words, grape, on is removed, it is removed, unique is still there, attack is there, from its is gone, sense, and this looks to me like all of the stop words are taken out. I wonder about the word but though. Let's see if but is in here. It doesn't look like it is. All right, the next two levels are check your understanding, and that's it for Unit 6, Lesson 6, removing data from an array list.